Welcome back on Good Morning Artesia. Jessica is here for Chamber Chat. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm actually, surprisingly, I'm not in this sugar detox phase like a lot of people, my child included, this morning.
Eat a lot of candy?
I had a little bit of candy, but honestly, we were so busy passing it out, I couldn't eat a whole lot.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm not so slumped over in my chair this morning.
So a lot of kids out and about last night?
Yes.
Okay.
So we actually divided and conquered in my house. My neighborhood is known for, it's a big loop.
Okay.
So it's known for drop the kids off at one side, pick them up at the other side because they can't really go anywhere else, right?
Gotcha.
And so we get a lot of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. And so, but every year our church also does a trunk or treat. And so we've never signed up because it's just so busy in our neighborhood. Well, this year my kiddo wanted to do a trunk and I said, okay, we'll divide and conquer. You know, Blake stayed home. I went and did the trunk with Brody and oh my goodness, there were so many kids. We couldn't even, there was no sitting down. It was from about 5:15 until 7:30 on the dot. And it organically faded out as we ran out of candy, of course, but oh, I could not believe it. And on my way home, I get a text from my husband, and he's like, are you guys almost done? I turned the lights off because I ran out of candy. I'm like, oh, it's only 7:30.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild. And I got home, there was cars everywhere, kids everywhere. It was awesome. It was great.
That's amazing. We went out.
Uh-huh.
We were not at home, but I had the alarm went off, or the notification went off a couple of times of people walking up to the house. We didn't have the front light. Well, the front light was on at first, and then when they kept coming up to the door, we had a couple of kids that kept coming up to the door, and we said, all right, let me turn off the front light. So from where we were in Roswell, we turned off the front porch light. That seemed to cut down. But yeah, this I don't know if he thinks he's a football player or whatever, but that was one of the kiddos that came to the
football player. He's like, man.
Yeah, and he's disappointed because we didn't have any.
Nobody came to the door.
Nobody came to the door.
Aww.
So I said, well, let me turn off the porch light, because I think that's kind of a universal sign that if the porch light's on.
Yes.
And so from where we were remotely, turned off the front porch.
The light. Nice.
And that seemed to cut it down. And then the other camera we have at the house, I was able to just kind of observe, the people walking by through the neighborhood. So there were a lot of people walking through the neighborhood last night too. So
good.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's fun. Honestly, there were all ages last night, and I know there was a post going around Facebook, and I think it goes around every year about, don't judge or poo-poo or knock on any of these like teenagers that dress up and want to come, even if they're asking for candy, because they're it's great because they're not sitting at home, they're not doing bad things, they're coming to happy, they're doing positive things, right? And so they're not sitting at home on their electronics, they're out doing something, and a lot of times they're doing something with their family.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things I noticed last night. There was a lot of I didn't see a whole lot of littles.
So
there was a lot more of older kids, and I thought that was a really cool crowd to see out and about last night, not on their phones.
Yeah.
Out with their families,
wandering,
taking their younger siblings out, whatever. And
good.
I just thought that to me was one of the big takeaways. I was like, you know what? Yes, they got out and they did something tonight that was
fun.
Good and fun. Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
Well, that's good. Well, I hope everybody had a good time. It looks like it, and we'll go on from there.
Yeah.
I know we want to talk about Balloons and Tunes, because that's this weekend.
Yes.
And there's a lot going on in the schools and around town, and so where do you want to begin with? Oh goodness, the weekend.
We've got a chunk of people coming in tomorrow already. They're coming from Albuquerque. It's a company, a volunteer organization called the Balloon Explorium.
Okay,
and they are a lot of them are former pilots or have been in the ballooning world for years and years and years, or some of them are current pilots as well, hot air balloon pilots, I should say. And Devon Energy sponsors them every year to come down, and they go into the schools and they teach fifth graders about hot air ballooning and the history of it, how it got started. It's the first time man ever flew, and just like to wrap your brain around that is really incredible that it's still going on today. And it's kind of a sport and a hobby, and it's awesome. But then the kiddos get to create their own hot air balloon. In groups of four or five kids. And so they work in teams. They're instructed by the Balloon Exploring volunteers, and then with families and parents that come out as well to some of the schools that help with this. And then they get to go fly them on the playground after they get done. Yes. Okay. So that is the most fun part. And so it's all made of the tissue paper that you would wrap presents with. And it's colorful. They give you a pack of paper. You can create the design however you want it to be. And then they go out on the playground, fly them across the playground. They'll put the burner exactly where, they know the wind is going to, take it across the playground where it's still safe. The kids can chase it and stays inside the boundaries. But it's a fun time for these kids. And then oftentimes the school will let the younger ones come out and watch and see, because then that's something they get to look forward to in fifth grade in the years ahead. So, yeah, it's fun.
And I think they're also going to do the exploring people. I think they have one for the public at the Ocotillo, right?
Yes. So this year, it's going to be at the Ocotillo at 2:00 on Saturday. So if your kiddo's not in fifth grade, or if they are in fifth grade and they're just jazzed about it and they want to do it again, come on out. Like I said, 2:00, Ocotillo, 310 West Main. We're going to do it in the lobby right there, and then they will have the burners and we'll get to fly them as well. So it'll be a fun Saturday. That's a chance for the community to come out. It's completely free. Mm-hmm. Again, sponsored and paid for by Devon Energy. So,
because the ones at the schools are for the kids in the schools, and they're probably won't. I mean, the public can't.
Right.
Because
unless you live around one of the elementary schools, you can just stand outside and watch them fly over your house.
That's true.
But otherwise, yeah.
But for everyone else, the Ocotillo on Saturday at 2 is the place to be, and then you can participate, or if you've got younger kids or older kids or whatever. So,
and we do, again, it's going to be like in groups, so it's not individual balloons on Saturday as well. Like a family would do one. But we'll have, last year we had a huge turnout, and so this year we're going to have a lot more volunteers to kind of help out. But we will ask the adults to really listen and help pay attention so they can help their kiddos if they're coming out with littler ones.
Okay, so that'd be fantastic. So that's they're coming in tomorrow.
Yes, and they're doing the schools on Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday at 2:00 at the Ocotillo for the general public to be a part of that. It's pretty cool stuff.
It is. It's really fun. I did it with my kiddo a couple of years ago. I think it was 19, so before COVID, and it was at the library, and they put the burners at the very far south side of the parking lot. We go over there. You hand your balloon to the pilots, and they inflate it and then you watch for it and wait for it, and then you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it takes off. We had to haul all the way to Main Street. We were running blocks and blocks. It landed behind the Ocotillo in the trees.
Oh, wow.
I could not believe it. All the way from the library. It went blocks and blocks and blocks. It was really funny.
That's pretty exciting. I think one year there was a football game at home, and I think I remember seeing some of those balloons as a part of that.
Yes. Last year we did that growl at the bowl.
Right.
And we had solicited all the principals. From the schools to make their own tissue paper balloon.
Yeah.
And they raced each other.
Yeah.
The only thing that was hard is we didn't know which one was which principal's balloon.
They didn't have them identified?
We did not.
Oh.
I mean, they handed them to the people that were in the burner, but then once they're in the air, they kind of got a little mixed up. So you couldn't like if you didn't keep your eyes on that one balloon and know that was your principal's balloon.
Oh, I see.
They kind of got a little mixed up, but it was so much fun.
I
think they got into it.
Oh, they did. They did. It was pretty exciting.
Yep.
We need to take a news break, but we'll come back because there's more.
Yes.
Balloons and Tunes activities coming up.
Yes.
So